There is an ancient truth that appears across every wisdom tradition, every mystery school, and even modern quantum physics. It's this, that our inner world creates the outer reality. This is not metaphorical, this is structural. This is how reality itself is designed. See, we live in a holographic universe, meaning the whole exists within every part, and every part reflects the whole. In a hologram, if you break off one piece, that piece still contains the entire image, just with a less resolution. So this is exactly how consciousness works. We are fractals of God or source, individualized expressions of the same singular continuum intelligence, not separate from it, not beneath it, not above it. We are made from the same fabric as source. Ancient Hindu cosmology describes this as Indra's web, a vast cosmic web of jewels, where each node reflects every other node infinitely. This means what you heal within yourself transmits outward. What you suppress within yourself also transmits outward. There is no isolated thought, emotion, or belief. We are interconnected through consciousness itself. Reality is not built on separation, it is built on polarity within unity. Masculine and feminine energies are not opposites, they are one continuum, expressing differently through form. Masculine energy provides structure, direction, and projection, while feminine energy provides receptivity, intuition, and creation. When these are integrated internally, reality stabilizes externally. When they are fractured internally, life reflects chaos, resistance, or sabotage. Each of us lives through unique identities, stories, and experiences, and not by accident, but as information gathering nodes. You are the transmitter. Your experiences feed data back to the central consciousness, what many may call source, God, or the unified field. This is why suffering isn't meaningless. It becomes wisdom when integrated. We're not separate from technology, us as humans. We are technology. Our bodies, our minds, our energy fields operate on sacred geometry, mathematics, frequency, resonance. And there is input and output just like any other system, meaning our beliefs are codes, emotions are signals, thoughts are commands. We are constantly interfacing with what some may call the matrix, not as prisoners, but as co-creators. Dimensions are not places above us. They are ranges of possible values, like a number line. Each dimension exists along with others. Each dimension is independent. Each dimension imposes locality, rules of perception and experience. You do not leave this dimension to access higher ones. You tune into them through thought. Our truest reality exists in higher dimensions, and the third dimension is a shadow projection of that truth. This is why matter is mostly empty space. Observation changes reality, and belief collapses probability. We are projections within a light matrix. Consciousness extends beyond the body. Your soul and thoughts do not stop at your skin. This is why MRI machines and magnets can read brain activity without actually touching the brain. They're reading your field. Your subtle energy body includes your physical, emotional, mental, etheric, celestial, aura, and Merkaba. Ancient wisdom summarizes this simply: as within, so without. When you are manipulating energy to change your physical reality, you do not force reality. You change the underlying signal, and reality recognizes. This brings me to my own journey, how I used a personal mirror to heal the saboteur pattern within me and outside of me. For years, I believed people secretly hated me. Others wanted to sabotage me. I was unsafe to be seen. And there was valid points to these beliefs. Number one, I'm very telepathic. Number two, I read people deeply. And three, I grew up with a loved one who unconsciously sabotaged me. She framed the world as unsafe. She distorted my self-image and she projected fear onto me. I was told I make things up. I was told I was sick inside. I was told I would fail or self-destruct, ultimately becoming a drug addict. Yet my external life did not match these narratives. But this somehow created a cognitive and energetic dissonance that was running my reality. But once I was able to realize this deep internal inner child wound, give awareness to it, give wisdom to my inner child, the inner mirror was revealed. So after leaving that relationship, the pattern still followed me. I began to manifest a lot of sabotaging clients, sabotaging partners, and sabotaging dynamics at work. But once I continued to dive inward and look at my own inner mirror, I was able to heal. I realized I had internalized the saboteur. My inner child, wounded and protective, was running the system. I was sabotaging myself before success, not because I wanted to fail, but because success felt unsafe. And reality reflected that perfectly to me. I also began to realize through the people that were sabotaging me, they also were dealing with a wounded inner child, reacting out of fear and a need to protect themselves. When we can look at our own inner mirror, it helps us to love more deeply, to have compassion for others, even our enemies, and to forgive on a very deep level. This led me to develop what I call the free minds method, a three-phase liberation process. The first step is clearing. This is basically shadow work. I'm not the pioneer of this type of energy clearing system. Shadow work is ancient. This is where you meet your inner child, just as I shared in my previous example. You find the first memory of, like in my example, sabotage or whatever it is that you're dealing with, whatever you're facing in your outer world, whether it be poverty, or maybe you keep manifesting abusive partners, or maybe you feel trapped in a medical matrix and you always are trying to find a doctor to find out what's wrong with you. Find the first memory of this incident. There may need to be forgiveness, definitely cord cutting, and you have to release the outdated subconscious laws that you have been feeding into day in and day out, wiring your belief system along with a program that doesn't necessarily align with your highest and true nature. I rewired memories with wisdom and compassion, seeing them through the eagle's perspective, not the victim's lens. This brings me to step two, integration. Clearing without integration creates spiritual bypassing. So integration includes acknowledging universal laws as within, so without, and I'm going to live by this. So I'm going to heal by this. I'm going to manifest through these universal laws. And you also need to embody service. So how can I now take this darkness that I went through and give the lessons of wisdom that I've learned on to someone else? This is where identity shifts. So living from wholeness instead of a place of separation, seeing all of the clients and family members that were sabotaging me as a reflection of me, a oneness. You will truly shift your physical reality. So I remembered who I am beyond projections, okay? Beyond the third dimensional temporal experience. Now, step three is commitment to evolution, continual evolution. And this is the most overlooked step. Reality changes fast, but maintenance is required and daily. So you must stay committed to interrupting all of those, like my example, sabotaging thoughts. You must choose higher thoughts. You must offer grace to yourself, and you must continue to learn, be a learner of life. And eventually this will lead to a quantum shift. I guarantee it. Timeline shifting and destiny, we can really understand this principle by looking at ancient Sumerian tablets, where humans are described as the ordainers of destiny. So timeline shifting occurs when frequency and resonance changes within us and belief systems that don't align with us collapse. Identity begins to upgrade. This is continual work day in and day out. Shadow work allows us to create consciously instead of destroy unconsciously. So your dominant emotional state determines your timeline. Whether right now in the current resonant state, you might be in fear, anger, and despair. You can guarantee or predict this will lead to denser, lower vibrational realities. Now, if you make the switch right now, in this moment, to switch your beliefs, switch your mindset, your heart space into gratitude, being of service, love, compassion, you will expand into higher realities. So, solutions are to acknowledge your blessings, think communally, not competitively, and become solution oriented. Serve something larger than self. So, this leads to a kind of like a final question here. What about disease and disability? How does this play into someone that is born with a disease or someone that has a chronic disease or disability throughout their life? First of all, this is not punishment. Second, it's not failure. And third, this is not spiritual inferiority. So many souls, we all do, we choose our specific bodies before Earth. We choose our limitation and our challenges before we sign on to Earth. People with disabilities or chronic diseases, they transmit rare frequencies. A lot of times, humility, innovation, heart coherence, and compassion. Some conditions anchor higher dimensional light into denser matter or really dark family bloodlines. Healing is not always about removing the condition. Sometimes it's about integrating its wisdom. And even here, inner work still shifts the outer experience, and perception still changes reality. Sovereignty still exists. People born with disease or disability are not failing at creation, nor are they unconsciously doing something wrong. With the holographic principle, creation does not only operate at the level of the individual personality or conscious mind. It operates across soul agreements, ancestral lines, collective fields, and multidimensional timelines. Some souls choose bodies with limitations because those bodies anchor specific frequencies into the physical plane. The inner world is not meant to fix the body, but to shape the quality of experience within the body, influencing how much suffering, empowerment, meaning, or peace is present alongside the condition. Working with the holographic principle in these cases means shifting from the idea of need to control to the idea of co creation. The inner world still deeply matters, but instead of I create by changing my body, it becomes I create by changing my relationship to my body, my story, and my self worth. When inner states move from shame, self rejection, or hopelessness into acceptance, self trust, purpose, and agency, the outer reality responds through improved quality of life, unexpected support, adaptive solutions, emotional healing, and sometimes even physical improvement. The hologram responds not by erasing the soul's chosen lessons, but by reorganizing reality around sovereignty, dignity, and meaning. Creation is not meant to be perfect. It is about alignment. You are not broken. You are not powerless. You are not separate. You are a conscious fractal source, remembering how to create. And the moment you change the inner world, the outer world must respond.